Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now, sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to this edition of the Red Kingdom After Hours for November 21st, the Tuesday following the Monday Night Football matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Unfortunately, the Chiefs were unable to get the dub, and the internet has been just nonstop blabbering about it. And we'll give you some of our thoughts about that game, and more so just what the game kind of says about the team overall. And then, throughout, we're probably just going to jump around the NFL, and if we see any storylines that we want to talk about or just any NFL conversational pieces we want to talk about, we'll just get into it. Good thing about Yep, I heard you bop bop. You're good. So the good thing about this show is there's no rules, there's no structure, and we can be as raw and unedited as we want. So we won't be choosing our words 100% carefully. So there's your warning. But we know that you guys don't hold back with your opinions, so we're not going to hold back in ours. So thank you, whoever joins now and throughout or listens in the replay of this. Let us know what you thought and what talking points are sticking in your mind in terms of Chiefs or NFL. And we'd love to get your thoughts on stuff like that, and we'll give you our thoughts about it too. So Dale, just how you feeling overall in a vacuum?
I'm all right. I've been getting through today, with a couple of troll posts and just masking my feelings about yesterday's loss. However, I go back at it again and you just look at it and you're like, man, we're beating ourselves. We're definitely beating ourselves. Drops, penalties, everything that's combined all together. So it's just like if you're able to figure that out, we have no choice to hope that they figure out at the end of the season, especially if we want to go ahead and win the Super Bowl. But overall, I'm okay. Um, don't know what we're gonna do, like going forward. I'm still confident. I know we're still gonna make it to the playoffs. I know we can still get out there. Hopefully, if we can, we got a pretty decent schedule going forward to where we can at least still win out. But at the same time, it's just when you get over to the postseason, when you play a team like Baltimore, you play the team like the Bills, you play Miami once again as well too. What will actually happen when those games could be, determined by a touchdown at the end of the game? Are we able to actually drive downfield and actually do that? So that's just where my worries actually lie right now. But I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to bug out. This is a team that's still 7-3. They're still 2 games ahead in their conference. In their division. And once the Baltimore Ravens have a bye week as well too, then we'll have that number 1 spot back. Just because as of now they got 8 wins with us having 7, so that's automatically putting them ahead. But they haven't had a bye week yet, so we still determine our destiny. We still can end up, winning it. So we just got to figure it out. But right now, I'm cool. I'm all right. We went off yesterday. Probably go off again later on in the show today as well too. But we'll see.
Definitely. So based on what I heard you say, if I could summarize that pretty succinctly, you are totally fine the rest of this season. Josh Allen, you coin flip whether we'll see the divisional round Josh Allen or wild card Josh Allen. So besides that matchup, this is a matchup where even an Alex Smith level quarterback with our defense should and would win all these games, as you
Yep.
stated. But it is when we get to the postseason where all of a sudden the team with Patrick Mahomes is afraid of other quarterbacks with the ball at the end of the game, the same way other teams are afraid of Patrick Mahomes having the ball at the end of the game. So that is where we're at. We're at a point in our fandom and this season where you are more comfortable with a 3-point lead and your defense on the field than you
Mm-hmm.
are down 4 and your offense needing to score.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes. And at some point, this stuff is not fixing itself. So you need to address the problem. If the problem is Patrick, then tell him straight up, you got to be more calm. You got to work through progressions. You got to, whatever it is. If it's the wide receivers and wide receiver coaches, you got to get on them. Do not drop it. Give them some accountability. If they drop it, bench their ass. Put somebody else in. Make them prove themselves. It's always this talk about running backs. The number one starter running back does not always play and ball out every single game. Coaches always do the hot hand. So we have to see about that. We've got to start enforcing that, because otherwise we're going to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
You're an average offense with an elite defense, and you feel so comfortable about winning the game until the end of the fourth quarter when that elite level type quarterback is trying to drive down the field. Plain and simple. Your defense can only be so good. They can only get so many stops. They're all professionals, and when you get in the postseason, they're all really, really good professionals, and they're all a very well-organized team. So you can't expect to get away with some bare minimums or the back of the book page plays, the bread and the vanilla type plays. Like we're done, Andy. Like you need to take the training wheels off, or you need to rip apart the offensive playbook, and you need to dumb it down. And we can have feelings and feel some type of way about that, but let's at least be real and try to finish this season strong with the Super Bowl trophy, which, if that's your goal, they're not taking the right steps to look like a team to take the Super Bowl. Yes, they look like the best AFC team. They have the most pedigree, they have the most experience, and everyone just assumes that Patrick will just snap back to reality.
I think it's that Patriots effect. I think they're trying to they try to compare it to years where you saw the Patriots offense be very average.
I saw that. I saw the
Yeah.
2004 Patriots talk, and my thought was like, okay, yeah, you hope that we play against another team with a Jake Delhomme type quarterback. But, oh my God, if it's a Jalen Hurts level, who we just played, it's a duel. You take away what you want. The scoreboard says what the scoreboard says. So now that matchup is a certain way. Who else on the NFC balling out? I mean, Brock Purdy, you could say what you want, but like the Cowboys, Dak is okay. He can have moments, but he can also look bad. So you think they can just stumble their way to the Super Bowl and then, Super Bowl 55, the offense can't do a darn thing. Defense is doing all they can, and Mahomes still looks like Superman. He's got a great offensive line, but all those balls are still knocking off their helmets, off their chests, off their hands, anywhere but being caught. So,
yeah, these are not caught for intercept. Well, a couple of them was at the beginning of the season. Right now, like we just told y'all, we free balling right now because we're upset because it's irritating right now. Right? It's just we're at the point to where I don't think we're in the Patrick Mahomes era so far. We haven't seen the team, I think, as bad offensively in those previous years. We had that year, I think we started off 3-4, then we end up going on a streak and stuff like that, winning a couple games. That's the year that we lost in 2021, 2022 to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. But
Right.
you saw a team, at least at the end of the season, able to put up 24 plus points still. They were able to still compete at that level. Probably not as good as we expected them to be as of now, but hey,
You're right. The good parts of 2021 are still there,
yeah,
but the bad parts of 2021 are so blind and glaring that it's obvious. The drops are worse this year than 2021 because they're happening way more frequently. We have the most pass dropped in the NFL already.
yeah.
The deep field production is down. The touchdowns are down. The interception ratio is up. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So this offense has gotten worse. And let me remind you, Chiefs in 2021 also had bad second half offenses.
Mm-hmm.
In the postseason, you cannot afford to keep having 3-and-out drives. You cannot afford to stall out over and over and over again, especially when you have these big names on offense. And
Yeah.
you could debate like what they should be doing and what they aren't doing. It doesn't matter. They got to figure it out. Because if they don't, they get all the blame.
For real,
Harbaugh.
because what MVS did last night, he's gonna have another opportunity like that in the postseason as well too. Because one thing that was said earlier from guys like Shannon Sharp and all those other people, they're starting to think that the league is not afraid of the Chiefs anymore.
That's right.
Okay, let's take advantage of that. You're not afraid. Y'all gonna play as loosely again. Y'all being like, oh, he don't have any wide receivers that's gonna actually be able to help him out. That's when we can take those opportunities. But at the same time, we got to take those opportunities at the right time, in a situation to where let's hit on those deep balls earlier in the game where we can put points on the board. Because if you did that earlier with the NVS play and you had one with Justin Watson as well, too, that could potentially be a touchdown, we're probably not having the same conversation already right
Mhm.
now. So it's just, seeing what they can develop and what they can work on. It's like, bro, y'all need to get y'all connection together. Y'all need to come together. Y'all need to figure it out because I don't understand how I can see a guy like Justin Watson beating a DB. You have a chance. He just beat a DB. You have a chance to go deep right now and take advantage of that.
All right, you
Ooh,
ready?
y'all need.
You ready for something, Chiefs Kingdom? Justin
What's
Watson
up?
had as many receptions as the other 4 wide receivers put together. So Justin Watson is Patrick Mahomes' most trusted wide receiver, the guy everyone wanted to cut from this wide receiver room because they thought it was way too talented. So everyone with your freezing cold takes at this point, and whoever else said Richie James would be a star and the number 1 punt returner and all this other stuff. So
Trying to think if
we
I actually said that. I probably did.
well
He may be referring to me, y'all, because I probably really did say it. Because we was hype. My guy Mark Gunnels, he just got put on freezing cold takes. This is the most talented wide receiver room in the league. And look what happened. Like it just you just saw it just fall apart. And it's
our
crazy.
offense looks like they play against our secondary every game. That's how our
Yeah,
offense looks. They look like they have
yeah,
a L'Jarius Sneed as a cornerback on
yeah.
the other side.
Look, and look. We got a Bengals fan in the chat right now. He been talking stuff in this other group we in right now. He been trolling us hard. But you know
Mm.
what? We gonna keep it together because I don't talk about injuries. Y'all need to worry about what y'all gonna be doing with those guys over there. You know, I
If
wanted to
I'm
see
a
y'all
Bengals
again.
fan right now, I want y'all to tank because I'm
Hey,
scared if they get close enough for a Brock Bowers trade up or a
ooh,
God forbid a good left tackle. Shade
ooh.
Orlando Brown.
And look, a lot of them. Excuse me. A lot of people, I think they are still trying to defend him like we were when he was over here, just trying to find the good in things now. But I see a lot of people saying the same thing as us as well too. He's a reason for the injury. He's getting hit a lot. We said the same thing, bro. That's why we didn't give him that money, because when we traded him from the Ravens, that was our first round pick. I mean,
Mhm.
to be honest, he's a round talent. He was drafted in the first round, and he can be good. But it's just certain things within our offense where if Mahomes, he's more of a mobile quarterback anyway, right? Joe Burrow can be mobile as well. I have seen him. He got some legs on him. If he get outside the pocket, he'd get a first down. But we just saw Mahomes do magical things, right? But in some moments we saw throughout the years where Mahomes can get himself out of crazy situations. He's doing it right now, even with Donovan Smith on the left side, because what they're doing is he's able to move up in the pocket. He has clear sight and clear direction in the running lane as well too, and he's utilizing that as well. So it's just, you know, he's he's ass. He's ass.
Hey,
Like
for
I don't,
$16 million, he could be a decent right tackle. But if the man is
man.
gonna like plant his foot as a left tackle, then he might be out of the league pretty soon because
Hmm.
his stats are worse with Cincinnati and prior to injury Joe Burrow, and he was supposed to be so much easier for Joe Burrow because he doesn't hold the ball as long as Patrick Mahomes, and he doesn't have to get as fast or as far back of a jump for Joe Burrow as Patrick Mahomes.
Man.
But you don't. Joe Burrow is not as mobile and scrambly as Patrick Mahomes is, and if you're gonna have somebody like Orlando Brown, you better be able to get away from the pressure because unfortunately he's not ultimately stopping the pressure, especially against a speed rusher. If you got a speed rusher going against Orlando Brown, it's fast. Oh, yeah. You figured it out. You figured it out because we can't wait to bring him back as like what a backup guard at this point. This dude is not starting on our team anymore.
Nah, it's done. It's done.
It like
And
okay,
yeah,
that's a question. If Orlando Brown is on this team right now, does he start? And if so, what position does he take?
look, I'm gonna be honest. If he was still on the team right now, we wouldn't get a guy like Donovan Smith, probably. Because I think we still wanted to solidify our right tackle position as well too, which is why we have Juwan Taylor there right now. I think we eventually do want him to transition over, but I think what he's doing right there at the right tackle position, making 20 million a year, uh, that's an average pay for a right tackle in the league anyway. So I was okay with that.
Right.
So if he doesn't transition like we want him to, but he's still effective on that right hand side, I don't mind if we need to see what we can do with Donovan Smith for another year and try to draft someone else to be able to fill that hole over there. But if
Mm-hmm.
OBJ was here, I don't think we would go for Donovan Smith. So I think he still will be a left tackle just because of the because he was with us for those previous 2 years, right? He was
Okay.
already accustomed to the scheme, that he was already accustomed to that position. So I think you
So
would have to keep him there.
so
But
all of that
mhm.
comes with the preface that all the Cincinnati stuff doesn't happen. I'm saying OBJ is such ass for Cincinnati that they just flat out release him, a la Colts today with
Don't
Darius
bring
Leonard.
him. No, keep him away. Just keep him away. You didn't want to sign. Just keep him away.
So you don't think he's good enough to start on any?
No. No,
Okay.
hold on, no. He not. No, he not good enough to start on our team. Let me not go there. Like OBJ, like I'm gonna be honest. He he's someone who progresses throughout the year. He starts out the year bad. He gets better throughout the year. He has games where he doesn't give up a sack. I mean, we saw in our last year, right? We was able to win a Super Bowl with him. He wasn't as
Mm-hmm.
bad in that previous year, so he could go to another team and still be top 10 in his position, because it's very hard to be a top 10 player in any position that you're playing. You can't just go out there and find somebody off the street and be like, hey, you can come in and play left tackle and you can do that. It's that's hard to do. You still have to have footwork. You still have to have some type of skill. And I think he just has enough skill to be able to be a starter in the NFL. But that doesn't mean he's top 3 or top 5. He just good enough. And I think playing with a team like the Kansas City Chiefs last year, it helped him out. He was able to get a ring. But what we're seeing right now with the team like the Bengals, and it's no shade to them at all. This is a team, this is an organization that's trying to find their way and go to another Super Bowl and hopefully win it this time. And with a guy like that, when you playing against a NFC defense that's really just they're dogs out there. They're going to make the game competitive. That's going to hurt you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're attacking a guy like Joe Burrow, that's what happened in his first Super Bowl. Who got that last sack to end the game? Aaron Donald.
That's right.
Dog. Even though he's an interior pass rusher, that's been the complaint the whole time for the Bengals offensive line. So you go out there and get a guy who this team just won a Super Bowl with him last year, right? We dropped him. We looking like, nah, we don't want to pay him that money. We don't want to pay him that money. Sometimes I feel like those moments right there should ring alarm bells in your head. Like, it's a team we competed against. We got this rivalry rhythm right now. We up 3-1 against them. Maybe bring in Orlando Brown Jr. to see what we can learn about this team to stay one up them. But how he's playing right now, you're not going to one up him at all.
But they also brought in a guy who played for a division rival for 2+ seasons. And you saw him twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw him get traded to the Chiefs. And after all that, and you saw the way he played.
Exactly.
You saw the way that you played against them in the 2021 championship game. And then last year and said, yep, that's exactly what Joe Burrow needs. So it's got another just random thing. So is it going to come down to the fact that because the Bengals decided to pass on Penei Sewell just to get Lamar Chase because of that connection?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think,
I think
there's a chance that ultimately will cost them in the long run because the left tackle is a more important position than wide receiver? Or at least a dominant tackle that you don't feel like you have to double team or chip or anything like that, that you can solely place on an island and feel comfortable with it?
that it might bite them in the long run. Just because the way the wide receiver market is right now, you might not even have Jamar Chase in his second contract, when it's time for that contract to come up. Because if you're not going to be able to pay him the money that he wants, he's talking about it already, how Justin Jefferson, he waiting for his contract to happen so he can set the market for himself because he know he can exceed that. So,
Right.
They're already thinking long term in the head. That's why I think when it comes to when you're when you're a fan of an NFL team, that's why they care about the franchise quarterback, because this is a player that's going to be there 10+ years if he's good, right? If he's playing at a high elite level. We saw that with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. We're going to see this with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's going to be here for that 10+ years. So if you're going for a guy like that who you already putting the franchise into, let's go ahead and get him the left tackle that can at least be there for 5 to 7 years with him as well. Because, he'll play out that rookie contract, then he'll go into his next contract. They're going to give him that deal just because he's playing at a high level. You need to protect the blind side of your star quarterback. They're going to do that. And then after that, whatever happens, right? But a wide receiver, a lot of times we seeing these guys nowadays, it seems like after they get out of that rookie contract, if the team is not offering what they want, they're going to go ahead and be like, hey, I see whatever else they're giving me over there. Like, so, they're not hesitant. Like, I want my money.
Right. So my argument, and I know that Chase and Burrow had that connection in college, so there's that extra chemistry, and you want to make your franchise quarterback happy and stuff like that. But if you look at left tackles, how hard is it to get a good or at least a solid left tackle in the NFL?
Very
and
hard.
Like you said, 5 to 7 years. You're talking about a rookie. What number within the draft do you have to get a top 2, 3 left tackle prospect?
Oh, you got to at least be
10,
so if you talk
15 at the lowest.
Because when you said 2 or 3, I said top 10. If you're talking about top 2, top 5,
right? Exactly, within the top 10, which Jamar Chase, top 5 pick. You can get a wide receiver in those low 20s, or you get close enough to draft to the mid or upper 20s. We saw what 3 or 4 wide receivers this season in the first round go within that 20 spot. So that's within a easier range than to, place your bets on a rookie tackle or, place all your money in escrow for an unknown within your scheme, within your team facility, et cetera, et cetera. So either way, you're banking on uncertainty. And for me, I'm going off of what is most likely to succeed. Sure, there could be outliers. Sure, there can be really good players in lower rounds. I know it's not an exact science. But you do see a dramatic drop-off in positions and talent at certain parts in the draft. And if you're not within that, you're not going to get it. That's the whole issue with the Chiefs right now. They wanted a stud left tackle. And if they weren't willing to give up basically all of day 2's picks or dip into next year's first round, they weren't going to get it. So, and you're the Chiefs. So we got lucky a few years ago with Orlando Brown that the Ravens were to say, here you go, you can have him because we know his flaws. We will gladly take a first round pick, swap you 6, blah, 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 all that. Sure, take him. Him for a first is how it's going to get looked at in history. We got this edge rusher who barely played in college but looks like a stud in the NFL. So the Ravens know what they're doing. And the Ravens, even with Lamar Jackson, have always been under this mindset to keep feeding their defense.
Yeah.
So maybe we're starting to see a little bit of that tendency here. Just because if you can't afford to pay tons of offensive weaponry talent, or you don't have, like I said, the position within the draft to get the stud level receiver versus the project draft lottery ticket type players in day 2 and on. If you don't have access to those can't miss, then you're just gambling each and every time. And you're hoping that one of them sticks. So you got to know where you stand as a team, know where your like positional weaknesses, and study where and what is the best way to increase the production of this group. And we can't afford to pay wide receivers and all that. If you want Mahomes, you can't afford to give him the best of the best. You're going to have to give him some pretty good scraps as rookies, and then they're going to get pushed out unless they're so generational that you just can't let them out of the building. The NFL is so draft heavy. Even now, like, despite free agency coming in the mid-90s and stuff like the NFL is still that way, where if you do not have good drafts and you did not have a transformative draft in some fashion, you are not going to be a franchise level team. You're just not. You're going to keep picking over and over again. You're going to keep spinning the wheel, rolling the dice, seeing what hits. And a lot of times these things are just not hitting.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I think that's what he's actually having, like what Veach is really just basing his structure of a team going forward. I feel like he really values those draft picks a lot, and he feels comfortable with going through that cycle of every year. Like, I got my star quarterback, I got his guy that wants to play with him until he retires. I have a defense right now that's sustainable and Super Bowl contenders already. So even if we don't even win a Super Bowl this year, they feel like they can do it for the next upcoming years just because what they have right now, and they have the structure, and I could just keep on putting guys in until it actually hit. So I I want to get somebody in the offseason. I want to get a wide receiver
Mhm.
because with us going in the later parts of the rounds, in the later part of the first round as well too, all that round 1 talent is already gone within the top 15 picks of the draft anyway. So
All right.
if we
So
can,
if Chicago gets the first overall pick,
hmm
4 first rounders for the number 1 overall pick, so the Chiefs can get Marvin Harrison Jr. Does Brett Veach make that pick?
you you saw you said for Chicago, like
Yes, the number
yeah,
1 overall pick. That's what it's going to take if the Chiefs want Marvin Harrison Jr. They have to get up to clear number 1 overall pick.
what we
So,
gonna give up?
I just said 3 to 4 first round picks. Would you do
And
that?
for
For arguably like the next best prospect wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, he's yours for that many years. He's cheap as hell for his rookie contract, and he balls out and becomes the best wide receiver. And we have this conversation that the Bengals are going to have about Jamar Chase.
okay, so let's go off of. We know that won't happen, but let's go off of if it does, if that actually came about. I don't think I would care. I don't think I would care. Honestly, I don't think I would care. Just
I wouldn't either.
because we
It
drag.
would tell me they have a freaking picture. They have a plan. Like if this
Yeah,
player is so
I wouldn't
like
care.
this is the Tyreek Hill level, and you know it's not a hidden gem anymore. This guy is the greatest. If you place him here on your play sheet, it's gonna work every single
Yeah, I'm
time.
doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm doing that too, and
Yeah,
I don't care how much it costs.
yeah, I'm
Like
doing it.
and that's where we're at this point. Like we had this conversation in week 1, how great it could be if the Chiefs got Marvin Harrison, and nowadays we're talking like that is a possibility, but like that's the best possible scenario we actually have.
So this is my question for you. So since we talking about if that's what we want to do now, right? So let's go back to Tyreek then. How you feel right now with what we got right now? Would you go ahead and pay him that 30 mil a year? With what we have right now, going back to last year, 2022.
Well, I know
Would you?
we get a guaranteed Super Bowl ring, so I have the short-term answer that
Uh-huh.
yes, I would because it stacked the defense.
Uh-huh.
But they also chose to actively not put that money back into the offense. Besides giving a third of it to a guy who had 0 catches last night and is getting flamed on the internet. So that's what the Chiefs did in a vacuum to account for Tyreek Hill and drafting Rashee Rice and Sky Moore. Those
Yeah.
were the quote, like move for move to
Yeah.
combat that. And it clearly did not work.
Yeah.
So it's now going to come down to drafting a guy again. And every year it's going to be, this guy's going to be it. This guy's going to be it. And they're never going to meet expectations because they are not the type of athlete or player that we ultimately desire to see wear a Chiefs uniform again.
Yeah.
Like, we're just not going to see it.
So,
Like, it would have to be some magic to get a big level receiver here. But we're going to get to the point where, like, a T. Higgins is a dream, where a Tyler Boyd is a dream, a Darnell Mooney is a dream for us. And that is not a fun place to be.
nope. They was really talking about that when the trade deadline came up, that the Chiefs were thinking about a Darnell Mooney. I was like, y'all just gonna get mad because it's gonna be another second and third receiver option that we already have enough of on the team already. So that was just gonna make y'all angry anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But let's this right here, Clinton, because I want to ask you your opinions, who you got for these Thanksgiving games. Our buddy came back again. We can all agree the Chiefs is making an early exit from the playoffs, so right? No. And the Broncos are likely to win the division. No. Tell your friend that's incorrect. It's not going to happen. Don't let Denver fool you right now. They're playing great. I think they figuring some stuff out. I think they're figuring some stuff out. I think Sean Payton right now, he's seeing who he wants to bring back for next year, what dogs he has right now. And I think they're winning some games off of it. But I do think that they're eventually going to actually lose a couple. They're not going to win the division. And I think they're going to I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think they will be
Broncos
second
are
in the
already
AFC,
two
AFC
losses.
West. Yep.
They already have 2 losses more than the Chiefs. We've talked like maybe the Chiefs have one more loss in them. And ultimately, if you look at their opponents and who the matchups are, you would be disappointed if the Chiefs don't go undefeated in the rest of this stretch because
Yeah.
3 losses was the max. They already got it. One of them came against a team you didn't expect, but
Exactly.
a team that was hungry to beat you. So that will always say something. Denver is playing a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season, so you can give them credit there. But I'm pretty sure they got pretty tough schedule ahead of them. And even if they do go undefeated, I still don't think they take the West. Are they like possibly the 7th best team in the AFC by the end of the season? Could be. Could be. It could be them and, let's say the
Let me see. I'm going
Texans
to their
are
schedule right
totally
now
in,
before I go back.
and then like Cleveland or Pittsburgh, one of those teams that doesn't quite make it as the division leader, but makes it as a wild card. I could see Broncos being mentioned in that group.
I got it up right now for you, and I'm gonna just say my predictions as I go. Browns L, Texans L, Chargers. I give them a dub. Lions
L.
L, Patriots dub. Chargers. I think they'll find a way to beat them again. Dub. Raiders. I'm gonna go with L just because of Antonio Pierce and he got those boys hungry up there in Las Vegas. Even though I don't think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to do nothing for the rest of the season as well. But their matchups always go back and forth. It's very, it is very questionable. So we'll see how that goes. But just about seeing the L's already, they wouldn't even have enough wins to actually, I don't even think, be in that 7th spot. If anything, 8 or 9. But I do think they could be second place in the AFC West because they're second place right now.
So okay, so now we're also getting a claim that the Chiefs are losing at least 2 more games. I can read off the opponents for you: Raiders twice, Chargers, Packers, Patriots, the Bengals without Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. So
Josh Allen could be a possible L.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 1. So 1. The Chiefs were dumb enough to give up the Broncos game and have no energy. If the Chiefs have that same attitude against the Raiders with an interim head coach, we have bigger issues. And we can bring up that comment about first round exit and not scoff at it because
we'll see what's coming up this Sunday.
That's right. And Jordan Love's he's been up and down.
Sunday,
he's starting to look a little better. You good, go.
Oh yeah, my bad. My bad. I'm like, whoa. Oh yeah. Yeah. So so with if we lose this Sunday to the Raiders, okay, we can start having a conversation. We can talk about what's going on because if we lose to the Raiders this Sunday, then I'm like, oh, okay, where did we lose at? Because I don't see them scoring anything over 21 points. I don't even think they will score over 14 points. And this is a team who's leading in turnovers as well, too, with 21 total turnovers. Chiefs got 19. They're 2 behind. But they got 21 total turnovers. And the Chiefs been averaging a turnover in.
Let's have the Chiefs go to their strengths. When the Chiefs are running their first 15 plays as they get deemed, they look good. They look normal, frankly. And then the second they have to call regular offensive plays, everything shuts down. So let's get a start where the defense
Mhm.
works their magic so fast and the Chiefs score so fast that it takes them 3 whole drives to make it to 15 plays. Let's get through everything first. Let's see all this stuff work and then see if we have to sit on a lead again.
Hey, tough, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. Mahomes was talking. Yeah, Mahomes was talking stuff to Cros. I can say it. Mahomes was talking shit to Crosby last time.
He was.
Crosby gonna be on. Uh, he's gonna be on him again. He's gonna be. I
He
think
gonna
it's
get
gonna.
his.
He's gonna have his time. You know, Crosby gonna make it. He's gonna get his. He's gonna make an appearance. I think he loves this rivalry that he has with the Kansas City Chiefs as well too. Even though he's been on the losing end at often with those times, he has made the games fun as well too. I like his competitiveness because I think he brings out a lot of fire from Patrick Mahomes too. I think he helps Mahomes elevate his game just because it's like, bro, I'm not scared of you. I don't care if you're the best quarterback in the league or not. Mahomes like, all right, you keep on talking. And what you saw him do when you go to the sideline last time, I'm him. Like, I like that. Bring it out of him. I think this might be a perfect game for Kansas City for real because it might bring some fire to them because those Raiders Chiefs games, they get busy.
So that's a good point, Dale, and you're right. Maybe this is the type of game for it to come out. I'm seeing a lot on the socials that Mahomes keeps getting praised for basically giving his receivers a pass, like not blaming them. It's all on me. It's all on me. Well, at this point, that may be hindering you because we're all not blind, Patrick. We all know. We all know whose fault it is if a ball hits a receiver in the hands and is not caught. A drop, to me, has no significance to the quarterback. If the ball touches your hand, you could have caught it, and the drop counts a receiver. So your receivers are throwing you under the bus, frankly, making you look bad, and you keep putting them on a pedestal, saying, no, I trust them. They're all good. You don't trust them, Patrick. There were several times you could have threw it to him, and you didn't because there's only certain guys you trust. Or you're like, I'm throwing to this guy on this play no matter what.
Yeah, he be lying. He be lying.
Yeah.
He be lying. Like, it's what it is. And it's cool, but that's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. I'm sure he's having those conversations.
See in the mic'd up him just F-bombing them to no end. It is on you guys. I'm going to go in front of the microphones later tonight and say it was all on me. But you guys are going to have to fucking go home and sleep tonight knowing who the real blame is on. Acting like, I'm just gratitude. I'm just blessed. I can't wait to play this game again. I will give my second chance. You've had so many chances.
It was going into the locker room. You saw him hitting his helmet and everything. He was trying to show his displeasure of his play, of how he was playing in. You know, he was trying to prove something, bro. That's what he was trying to do. But that ain't gonna work, bro. Chiefs Kingdom, you seen what we did to Tyrann Mathieu. You're gonna get the same thing. It's just on the offensive side this time. But you can make it up because once you score a couple touchdowns, once you get it together, you know, we can forget very quickly. It's what you do for us now type of league. All right, you did it. You dropped the ball. Okay, we own you this week, but you can change that narrative next week. And we see you got a little fan as well too that is, you know, praising you and sticking behind you as well too. We ain't gonna say that person's name because I got love for him, you know. But it's like, hey, bro, don't come on here with trying to defend him. We're not doing that today. We ain't doing that today. MVS, you gotta catch that. Mahomes, you don't throw that interception. Kelsey, you don't fumble. But bro, you had a chance to let everybody know when we caught that ball, we could have forgot about all the bad things in that game. And y'all scored 24 points.
I said it in a comment earlier today. The 3 games the Chiefs lost this season, they had so many drops. But if you take away just 3 of them, just the big 3 from each game, the Chiefs win them all or look like they're going to win. Because
Yeah.
Tony right into the Lions' hands, give them 7 points. There's the deficit right there. Mahomes throws it to Sky Moore, and he drops it in the end zone. If that game gets closer in score, you know that Denver, the Broncos, the team, and the fans in the stands are clenching their buttholes by that point, thinking, uh-oh, Patrick's back. He finally decided to wake up on us. He always does it. He always finds his magic against us. So they were ready to fall apart the moment that was caught as well.
Yep.
And then MVS, the so obvious one. So if you get rid of those 3 drops, the Chiefs still have all their issues, but we don't have to be talking this way or as stressed about it. It can be our defense is amazing and our offense is still figuring out, oh, well, at least they're not shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly.
Yeah. Like, look, I'll say this before we go on into our other conversations as well, too. With Mahomes, like I address this right now. Mahomes at fault for overthrowing people all night long. In this game, this wasn't compared to other games. These wasn't any overthrows. They let it right in the bread basket. And even the one with MVS when he threw it over him, MVS, he was supposed to go towards the pylon. That was one of those catches to where you go straight and go deep. He started twisting and turning. If he just goes straight, he's good and he catch a ball. Clinton was there at the game as well too, and he saw the same thing that we saw. All he had to do was just keep on running. That's all he had to do. But we had somebody who commented on the game last night. He tried to defend his former team and a fellow wide receiver himself, trying to let him know, hey, when you get into those lights, y'all think it's easy catching the ball. Y'all do it all year, bro.
That's
Especially
their job,
when you
right?
play. Well, that's when you play for the Kansas City Chiefs because you're playing on prime time a lot.
A
He got
quarterback is
used to that
only so
last year.
good. A quarterback is only so good at throwing the ball if it doesn't make it into a person's hands. You can throw the best spiral in the world, but if no one can catch that football, you are not worthwhile in the NFL. So, what's the difference for a wide receiver? That is your job. The ball comes towards you. In some other fashion, you have to handle the stress of that ball coming towards you and catching it. There are several people in real life jobs who have just as bad of stress and have to make those quick time decisions in their line of work as well. So don't get on a soapbox and act like being a wide receiver is like this hardest job in the world, guys.
Now, when you got the most pressure on you and everything is blamed on you once it's a win or it's a loss, that's a lot of stuff and a whole responsibility that you have to hold. I don't think wide receivers hold that much responsibilities as quarterbacks in the league. Yes, they depend on you to make a big play, but at the end of the day, just like Patrick Mahomes did when he got up to that podium, he put it on him and said, "Hey, that was on me. Maybe I could have threw it a little bit shorter." So he saved it for you. Of course, you're gonna say what you say when you get up to the podium and be like, "Yeah, I should have caught that," but they're going to look at the quarterback and look like, hey, he said he should have thrown it shorter to you. So they're going to put the blame on him. So I don't want to go there into that. That's a different conversation within itself with Clinton. We got Thanksgiving coming up, and we got our first ever Black Friday game, bro.
We do.
So Green Bay and Detroit. Who you got winning that one?
I mean, so we've seen Green
It's
Bay
obvious.
try to make an uprising, play a little better than normal, but the Lions are the Chargers if they were actually clutch.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. Like, the Chargers will do the weirdest things because they think it gives them the greatest chance to win, and they don't care if it looks ridiculous. If you were to just say that out loud, if they have belief in it and they believe it's going to work and they're blindly following that, and they make it work regardless, no shred of doubt to them whatsoever, and they get it done despite not having the best at whatever. They are the perfect overall, averagely good everywhere you can have kind of team. Only having 2 losses, so at this point, the second best record was tied with the Chiefs before last night.
Yep.
But this is a team that is the type of team that I am hoping the Chiefs learn to become. The ruthless, gut it out, do the strategy that it takes to win that game every single game. Specialize what it takes to win that game. It doesn't matter if your original plan, throw it out. Second quarter, you know what you actually need to do to win the game, and do that and nothing but that. That's what I want to see. I want to see them totally commit to winning versus totally committing to winning the Chiefs way. The Andy Reid way.
Yep. Yep, I agree. That was really a perfect analogy for who they are. Like the Chargers if they were clutch, because I love Dan Campbell. That dude, he's on fire. He's a motivational coach. Guys just want to go out there and play for him. And then, I think they still eventually they will go out for another quarterback who they feel can lead them further. Once they, find somebody in the draft, more than likely, it won't probably happen this year just because Jared Goff.
Hey, if they keep playing as well as they're playing, they're not going to get one of those top quarterbacks like we're talking about.
They're not going to get one. They're not going to get one. Maybe they had the chance because people don't look at the lines like they do the
Patrick, Deshaun Watson, like get to the
trying to probably 12, move 15. Up in the draft. Yeah, something like that. But they do have the potential to be representing the NFC. If they play the Eagles, it will be a tough game for the Eagles, because I think what they did against us, they can't do against them. Because what they did against us, that's how we were beating other teams as well too. But how we played against them with the Lions, playing how it was a lackadaisical game, a lot of mistakes, they capitalized and won. So it can be the same outcome that happened with us as well too. So they got to figure that out as soon as possible. But Detroit, there's some dogs. I like what they're doing over there. I know Jared Goff still gets a lot of criticism. However, he's finding ways to win, and this team is, averaging up to the 27 plus points per game right there. So that's around top in the league. Defensively, they got some dogs. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Aiden Hutchinson. They got CGC over there as well too. Talk big stuff with us all the time, but they're molding that team into some dogs, and that's what they need over there in the NFC as well too, because when you look at the AFC and the NFC, for some reason, I don't know why I always decipher them like that, but they always seem like they have the best defenses. It seems like they win their games based off of defense. AFC, they always have that offensive approach, always have a high quarterback, always scoring a lot of points. But in the NFC, they have dogs on the defense, so they're starting to mirror what they need to have to become Super Bowl contenders over there. So I'm loving it.
Based on what I've seen so far this season, I think the NFC is pretty much down to 3 teams. And I think at this point, they would each take turns beating the other. So you have, in my mind, Eagles, Lions, and 49ers. I think the Lions have the best chance out of those 2 teams to beat the Eagles. I think the Niners beat the Lions. And I think the Eagles beat the Niners. So in that weird trifecta, you eliminate one of those teams, that tells me which one I think outlasts those 3. Yeah. The Cowboys, but I mean,
we always say that every year, then they just been on this division.
It's not the mid 90s anymore.
Yeah, early 80s, none of that. There's none of that.
Oh my God! So literally, I was spitballing about this earlier today. So Joe Burrow going to the Niners, I had let out some crazy formula that the Chargers are clearly wasting Justin Herbert's career. They're just wasting him away. Like Justin Herbert can do whatever he can. He ain't winning the division. He ain't getting them far. Justin Herbert in the NFC West. Justin Herbert on the 49ers. Justin Herbert on the Seahawks. That would scare you a little bit. Like Justin Herbert's on that level, but he's never going to get talked that way because he plays for the Chargers.
Gotta go to the NFC, bro.
Like,
I think it's
make it happen. I don't know how. I don't know how you force that trade, but the Chargers are not a good franchise. They're just not. They are not well run, and they become not well coached, which means they're not well drafted, which means they're not well taken care of health-wise, medically.
But they're not gonna give that up, especially after that. The long years that they had with Phillip Rivers. They're just gonna try to hold Justin Herbert out as long as he can, because this is what they're always gonna keep on selling to him. We got guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Then Chargers fans have it really bad because their team doesn't try to win a Super Bowl. They just want to entertain people in Los Angeles. And most of the people who are Charger fans, I'm pretty sure, don't or aren't from Los Angeles.
Yeah, my bro, he from Kansas City. He liked the Chargers, and he liked the Chargers because their color was blue, and he just kept on, messing with them.
Powder blues, baby.
Yeah. Now, you know what? I will say, if that was in San Diego, I think it would be a different story. I think they did have a fan base there, though.
That's right.
Y'all was chasing the money, trying to go up to Southern California and go over to Los Angeles. Y'all needed to stay down there north in San Diego. It was a beautiful setting. Every time we played up there, it was always beautiful, bro. Like just I don't know what it was. It was just like I feel like I'm at vacation. The field looked good, the weather looked good up there. Always sunny. They had a decent field. They had the aesthetic.
Teams all around the city.
Yeah, the aesthetic was right, and then you had a solid fan base as well too. Y'all in LA and y'all getting overruled. Y'all should have stayed in San Diego where it was still a good amount. I mean, we still travel well up there because it's a lot of fans, a lot of Chiefs fans on the West Coast, in California specifically as well too. And I think they still would make that travel as well. But I think they had just the right fan base, and they went away from that.
Yep.
But going back into the subject, I mean, Justin Herbert to NFC, I think that makes sense just because it's never like we know in the AFC, it's like always these four quarterbacks we know that's going to be talked about when it goes into the playoffs. NFC, it kind of switches. It's that team who's actually hitting that year, who is playing at that level. If you're a top team that year, more than likely you're going to be in that NFC Championship game, and you're going to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl as well too.
Right.
So I think he would have that advantage. Yeah,
you described it perfectly. Team versus quarterback. NFC team versus the AFC quarterback that makes it.
Yep.
Most of the time, history says that the quarterback wins, but that's not always the case, because if you have one of those elite tier defenses, sometimes the defense alone can carry you to and through the Super Bowl.
Seahawks,
to, Broncos as well to come back. So, yeah.
So we went out. So of course we're going with Detroit.
Lions got it pretty easily. If the Packers make it a game, then the Lions can start to have that fear that the Chiefs were having earlier this season. Like, oh no, can we actually, figure ourselves out and stop making mistakes when the important time comes?
Yeah.
But they might start looking like Pittsburgh Steelers of old, playing down to whoever they play. They most likely will win the game, but you still have that fear that you're like one mistake away from it being one too many to outlast.
Yep. They definitely got the talent though, so we'll see how it goes for them. So yeah, I think we can give that win over to them. Dallas, Washington. I'm going Dallas. I think Washington makes it a game though. It's at Dallas. It's at Dallas because of Thanksgiving.
Right.
So it's at Dallas.
So Washington just got embarrassed to the Giants last week, and so you hope that they come out with a little more fire especially Eric Bieniemy. Call back to him on TV. But yeah, you're right. This Washington defense is it's not.
It's not good.
How a Ron Rivera defense could be as down as it has been, and then you sell off your best pieces. So the writing's on the wall. I think Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell, the Washington version of Daniel Jones, I think they can make it a game, but you're right. I think that Dallas is just way too pumped up for that game. Thursday, Thanksgiving, always in Jerry Dome. So
Yep. And Washington too. I mean, I want to see the offense be able to compete and still put up some points, but I kind of want them to still lose too, because maybe that gets Ron Rivera out the door, and maybe EB moving up in that interim head coach or going forward head coach. I think that's the deal they had too in the offseason as well. It's like, hey, if this happens, I want to be the next guy up. Yeah, I want to be the next guy.
It has to be an interim firing though? Like, that you don't think that the Washington could just decide to mutually part ways with Ron Rivera at the end of the season and then bring Eric Bieniemy up versus just have to interim head coach him first?
Yeah. Well, if they want to interim head coach him first, they need to go ahead and part ways with him probably like the last 3 or 4 games of the season, maybe sooner than that, just so he can just get established into that role already. Because they're going to have to do their Rooney Rule, right, where they have to interview.
Which you don't have to do if you already have an in-house candidate who already matches that criteria.
Exactly. So it's like the writing's on the wall for him to just go ahead and take it over. So yeah, if they're going to do that, because their record right now, I don't even think they won over. They're 4-7. So you lose probably the next 2 or 3 games, you'll be at 4-10. You're not going to the playoffs. Nope. It's automatic. So you're 4-10. That's 14 games, 17-game season. So you fire him at that point. EB.
I mean, I guess my point is, if they were going to fire Ron Rivera during this season, I feel like they would have done it by now. Yes, because they've given up 35, 37, 40, 38, 31 to the Giants. They're giving up 30-plus points a game, and you're supposed to be a defensive coach.
He might be gone. Yeah, they probably, what you said.
So, but they clearly aren't doing it during the season, because I don't know what else you'd have to see.
It could be out of respect for him, though, because he was dealing with that.
Maybe, and I won't say maybe it's because after this game, there's one more week before their bye. So maybe the first couple weeks of December aren't good for Mr. Rivera. But you'd like to see EB immediately get pushed into that role, but I think he's going to have to do it the hard way, like you said. He's going to have to do the official interviews and everything else.
Yep. We'll see. I mean, yeah.
Okay, hold up. We got to interrupt this discussion because we got some Looney Tunes here in the chat here. So now you're saying 3 games. You're saying we're going to lose to the Packers, Raiders, and Bills. You're saying we're going to lose to Jordan Love. You're saying we're going to lose to Aiden O'Connell. I'm sorry, bud. I know you have to have something to. I know you need something to like cheer for, because you have Jake Browning as a quarterback now. So you're smoking the copium, which is fine, but let's not let's not talk like magical things are going to happen, okay?
I say you said them be the ones that we lose, bro. No, we lose one of those every now and then, but we ain't gonna lose it to all of them. Like, because one thing what I think one thing that people got to understand as well too. I know that playoff teams a lot of times like to those are regular season games. Postseason are the ones that matter, and a lot of times Chiefs fans say it as well too because we're used to just being the team that's going to be in a championship game and then hopefully in the Super Bowl. You got to win these regular season games though to get to that
Make it.
point. You gotta do that. You want to win at least 13 to 14 games so you can at least lock up that number one seed. You do that, you have that bye week, and then from there you only got 3 games to win, which is two within the AFC conference, and then the Super Bowl where you can win
Right.
it all. So you got to put yourself in position to actually go out there and ball out and win. So I don't think we go out there and just try to be like it's all okay. It's all good. I think we do take these games serious. But what you already alluded to before as well too, Andy Reid just need to stop being stubborn. Always want to win it the Chiefs way, the Andy Reid way. We need to
Mhm.
go into some of these games, game planning, and win it the way that's going to allow us to actually be at our best. If we're not going to be able to run a lot or throw a lot on this team right here, we need to go ahead and run Pacheco 25 times. Within those 25 times, you can still throw it a good amount of times, at least 30 times. Still, he's just not going to be throwing as much, throwing over 40 or 50. He doesn't need to
Mhm.
do that anyway with the weapons that we have. So he just need to think about what to do going forward. I mean, and we say this all the time, and I feel like we've been saying this just like they've been saying the same thing in their press conference. However, I'm going to stop saying it. But like y'all know what to do. I'm gonna just keep on praising the defense until y'all wake up. So that's how I feel. But yeah, bro, you cat. I
So
thank you for that in, but you're
yeah,
capping.
true. Okay. So if you're gonna be, if we're gonna be so confident in the Chiefs' end of schedule to give up only say one game,
Hmm.
we've already been talking that Baltimore is in and all our number one threat AFC at this point. Number one chance at AFC first seed overall, and biggest threat to the divisional round or conference championship matchup type level game. So if you're going to say the Chiefs are going to lose 2 or 3 times to their opponents, Baltimore plays the Chargers, the Rams, the Jaguars, the 49ers, the Dolphins, and the Steelers. So talk about a hard 3 game stretch to close out the year with Jags, Niners, and Dolphins. If we're claiming the Chiefs are only going to lose maybe one of their games, and not even do we really think they're going to lose one, do I think the Ravens are going to go undefeated with the rest of their schedule? Hell no.
Hell no. Hell
Hell
no.
no. Hell no,
Not gonna
dude.
happen. Not gonna happen because what you said. All right. They can probably get by Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh, they still led by Mike Tomlin. He's a dog. He does got a great defense.
That's
The
right.
Jaguar games can happen. Jaguars is in between. It's like if you get the Jaguars to where they're how can I say it? If they're hitting on all 3 phases, they are actually out there competing. Defense is looking good. Trevor Lawrence is moving the ball downfield. They probably lose that game. Probably something at the end. Who
Mm.
else you say as well too? I heard some
49ers,
that might be an L.
Dolphins.
Depends because we saw what our defense was able to do to them. They got a good defense too. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
stop Tyreek and you get after Tua, you win. If you're not, and Reek going for 150 plus, 3 touchdowns, Jalen Waddle sprinkle in over 90 to 102, Mostert have about 80. You probably lose that one for sure
Mm-hmm.
because if you allow that offense to be great and go up there and put points, that's gonna be a long day for them because they
Right.
do have a defense to where they can get after you too. Lamar Jackson, they got some linebackers and some defensive linemen that actually has that speed to where they can, if they hit you at the right angle, you won't be able
Mm-hmm.
to probably be as effective on the ground. But only reason why I say the Ravens is that team that we worried about right now is I always put things together. I look at it like this: we're already up 3-1 on Lamar, technically, right? They still have a chip on their shoulder as well, too. what type of game do we get? Or is the defense are we not going to allow him to score in the first half like we did with Miami? Hold it out. Maybe the offense still could score 21 points, and then they're not scoring that much in the second half. Does the offense at least wake up? We can score some points in the second half as well too. Who knows? But that's where we come in as like it's iffy.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs, we iffy right now. It's like we know we can win with this Super Bowl defense, right? But this offense don't know how to do enough with that type of defense as well too. It seems like it's like, hey, bro, like even if you you know how we had those first halves in previous seasons where we can go off for 28 points. We did in the Bears game as well too.
Mm-hmm.
You do that, I know we winning. Right. Because that defense is not giving up that much. This is not a defense that bends and don't break and get lackadaisical and get lazy in the second half. They're still coming in trying to sack you, get turnovers and all that. That's the difference. So I'm okay with that. So if you're doing 28 points in the first half, okay, 35. Okay. All right.
So I get to play devil's advocate here for a second. So if you're the Chiefs defense, are you trying as hard if you're up 3 touchdowns? Are you trying to make them completely scoreless if it is 28-0 after 4 straight drives? Like, you're not going to hold them forever.
You're not.
So the defense eventually is going to, you're going to get them eventually. It happens. Even the best of them, you can have 500 tries at them. You're going to get through them. And if this defense does not have the same type of fire, looking at the scoreboard, knowing that they're either losing or tied, and if they don't do their job, they are more fucked than if they give up 1 touchdown when they're still up by 4 touchdowns. So maybe that has something to do with it. Like, I'm not saying that they're intentionally not scoring points on purpose, but I'm saying that this attitude of the game is closer, it's a defensive game, it benefits the defense to have more fire under them and to have more urgency than to look up at the scoreboard and say they can afford to give up something. Because that's not what you want. You, as a fan, want your team to go on the field and execute every drive perfectly, whichever side of the ball they're on.
Facts.
So that's what you expect. That's what you expect. So if you don't see that, you're disappointed.
Yeah. So and it's like even the times that we got downfield in the second half, instead of if we get kicked 2 field goals, it's a win. It's a win. It's like we can't do none of that. And we shooting ourselves in the foot and that's why I don't get mad. That's why I don't get that. We're mad in that moment, bro. Like we're mad. Like when I say this, I'm talking about like I'm not mad as if we lost because the other team is better than us. Bro, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You got down there, had a couple penalties that helped you get down there as well too. Kelsey, helping us get up the field. Pacheco running hard. Tony sprinkled in there as well too. It's like, and then a McKinnon screen or whatever. It's like we doing all that to get down the field. Like we need to keep it up. We need to let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. Mahomes when he threw that lob, when he threw that lob to Watson, I knew it was going to be an interception. I was like, I hate when you throw that little ugly lob like you think it is just so simple, bro. Like in those situations on the goal line, just because the field is shorter, it's easier to defend. You can't run around like that. It's not that much space to run around. So in those moments, if you're going into the middle of the field, you need to go ahead and get that bitch off like as soon as possible. You need to get it off quick.
Yep.
Because the thing is, once you let the defense figure out where everybody is at and where they allow them to be, then that's where you have trouble. It's like, okay, now they got this area to field locked up. Then what's going to happen is your lineman can't block forever. They're going to come after you as well too. So in moments like that, if we're starting off 1st and 5 on a goal line, we on a goal line right there, just run it with Pop. Get the 3 or 4. Make it where we can do a push into the end zone. Let's start simplifying it for us.
We know our coach. So let's do it the way our coach would want to do it. Okay. So we're in the red zone. that's when the gimmick plays come out, and that's when coach has full control of everything. Like, no freelancing when we get down the red zone because there's not the space. You don't get to utilize this in front of the blue line, so to speak. If we're down there, it's going to be Patrick running, and the defense eventually knows that and will stop getting faked out with the I'm going to go out of bounds move.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's very ugly. All right.
Will I bet on the Packers game? I'm not a better period, but what's the betting line? And I can tell you if it's worthwhile.
Talking about individually, bro, you can get a little 20 out of me. It's gonna be a 20 in my pocket, so that's cool. But yeah, what is the money line for that game? We probably they probably gonna have us negative 6.5 or something.
Lions are a 7.5 point favorite.
7.5.
I think they'll win by 8 points.
I think he trying to say bet on us. He wanted to bet us for the Chiefs.
You crazy.
Yeah, all right, we can do that 20. Yeah, I like it. But I wonder what is the money line for that game for us though. I'm about to go to it right now. Let's see. They got us. So we're 72.8% matchup predictor. So they got us winning that game for sure. Over half. Where do they got the money line for it though? We'll get to that point when they don't have to spread right now. I don't think we'll see it when it wants to come up. Probably gotta do it on the ESPN app. But we see it. But I bet they're gonna probably have us at a 7-point favorite just because they like they 4-6 right now. So they was just 3-6. So 4-6. They might give us a touchdown favorite. If not, probably a little bit below that. Probably around 5.5. I wouldn't still bet that spread on that though, because we know the Chiefs. We know them. Nah, we gotta do it for Vegas. We not gonna let y'all win that one. We can lock that 20 bet again.
The Chiefs are a 9-point favorite over the Raiders right now.
9-point favorite.
So a 10-point victory. Ugh. Yeah, the Chiefs are terrible when it comes to their money line. They should win against all these opponents, and they'll barely beat a team by 3 points when they're
facts.
When they were supposed to win by like 14. So no, I would never ever take the Chiefs bet unless I really dislike the opponent and think they are just complete utter garbage.
And I hit on it
the Chiefs in any bet.
I hit them on the money book last year in the Super Bowl. I got lucky. I said they'd win by. I said they'd win, and I think I took the over on the points like for the entire game. It was like 38-35. So it was. I think they had the over. It was like over 42 or something like that. We definitely hit that. I was like, cool. Now I wish I did the Chiefaholic. I should have did that at the beginning of the season. The MVP and the Super Bowl win. If I was him, I would have got that money. I'm out of the country.
Well, but it takes a special kind of person to bet that kind of money in the first place to then do all the things that he decided to do around that. So it's not just a one-to-one thing. I wish I could have that. You would have also been up in the head, bank robbing, all that other stuff. We could have been seeing you on TV.
Bro, his story is wild. My friend just told me about. I got to find a way to get it ESPN Plus. Bro was hitting all the banks. Cuz was on 100,000 on his back on a bike, robbing him with a BB gun.
Legit, like some Western outlaw type shit, like going town to town, wherever the wild takes me, robbing banks on the way. Insane.
Unpopular opinion. I told people, I was like, for real, bro. Like, if I was him, though, what he was doing, he really got something like he gonna be famous when he get out of jail, bro. You got an
Mhm.
ESPN little fake 30 for
It
30
hasn't even been a
on ESPN
year.
Plus. It haven't
It's
even been a
within the
year.
year itself. Like, are you kidding me? It takes like some of these criminals years for their story to get
He gon'
published
he gonna get
immediately.
out. He about to go on Vlad TV. He gonna go on he gonna go on what else? What Ryan Clark and them doing? It's not I Am Athlete. It's they new stuff, bro. Well, it's not new, but they've been doing it for a minute. But he gonna go on Neil, might see him on the Shannon Sharp show. Yeah, he gonna be doing guest appearances at the late night show. If I'm him, I'm like, bro, all right, let me go do this 5 to 10. I got this money put up somewhere. I'm coming out. I'm doing all these interviews. Y'all gonna be like, how is bro? How is dude just famous off of robbing the bank? We in weird times, bro. You do some weird stuff, social media.
At this point, infamy is very valuable. It doesn't matter for what. As long as you're infamous for something, people will find you interesting and justify giving you money.
Man,
So,
like, and when he came out on Twitter, I was looking at that whole stuff, bro. He did the 6ix9ine, who back. I was like, this dude is wild. Like, this dude is wild, bro. He's a wild boy for real. That's funny, man. But everybody talking about that's not all Chiefs fan, bro. I don't care. We all got some little dirty people doing stuff who Chiefs fans. Sports is loved in America. You feel me?
mhm.
The killers, the robbers, all them, they got a favorite team. We got one. We all got one. He was thorough. I'm going to the game. I heard
Oh
when I
man,
came down here for the draft. Yeah, I heard the police presidents at the draft. This year they thought he was gonna come. Yeah, he's not that goofy. He already knew not to come. He wasn't
okay.
that good.
I'll say this, and I'm not gonna try to make it sound like K-State slander, and just because I got called out for my hoodie choice this evening. So yeah, we don't know anything about like KU criminals, but we know at least 2 K-State criminals. Well, Xavier had nothing to do with K-State whatsoever, but at least KU doesn't have a serial killer to their name, so we could. I'll just leave that there. BTK. So, folks,
It's a
that's what you
serial.
get. Mm-hmm.
It's a serial kill.
Mm-hmm.
I, I,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
wild.
he's got pictures in his K-State purple tailgating. So you don't know who you're tailgating with, folks. You
Bro.
never know. You don't know
Just
what's behind somebody's mask.
yeah, this is wild, bro.
Hey, that's why this is an after hours, and this has no structure whatsoever. We have the freedom
None,
to
none
just
at all, bro. These are fun.
talk
We gotta
shit
do
this
more of
whole
these.
time. Agreed.
Gotta do more
Well,
of these. But I know we're about to get out of here in a little bit. This is the last one for Thanksgiving. Let me go back to San Francisco and Seattle. San Francisco, I'm
ooh,
going. That's a good one though. I'm
it
going
is a
San
good
Francisco.
one. Trying to remember, did Seattle win last week?
Let me see.
Mm,
They lost to the
that's right.
Rams
That's right. Lost to the
17-16.
Rams. That's right. So part of me thinks that they're going to come out with a little more fire, especially because that AFC West division, it looks like it's going to be tough. Like the Niners, they dropped some early games. I don't think that they're due for an undefeated streak or anything like that. So, I mean, there's a chance that they can make the AFC West pretty competitive, and it might be like the best division, so to say, where you have the number 1 seed in the conference, but then also the team just below them is the top wild card. So do I give Seattle a win? I'll do it. I'll put it on tape. I'll give Seattle the win.
I don't think it's a bad answer either, though.
I don't feel any type of way about it. I just feel like Seattle has some more fire that that they're looking for. And the 49ers are on that like uptick where they're like confident again after their down like streak of just crapping for no reason. So I feel like they're due for another drop in production, which is going to lower expectations for the team all over again. They're just going to go through this vicious cycle of, we can do it. Oh no, Brock Purdy isn't enough. Oh no, we need something better. No, he can do it. He's our guy. Bring him in long term.
Man, hey, maybe our boy Frank could go out there and ball out, you know?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
my
Meet
boy.
him in the Super Bowl, man. Can you imagine
Maybe our-
Seattle versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Frank walks up to Andy. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then he's like, "Pretty good, Frank. Oh, by the way, you're not getting a sack this game. I already made sure of that. Like, I
we
don't care
not
if your
doing that, bro.
teammates get 5 sacks. I don't care. It ain't gonna be you, Frank. It is not gonna be
We
you."
not doing it. You're not doing it because we know you looking for it. Because once you get that sack, the tempo go up because it's like, oh, I got some fire for y'all. But it's like it's all right. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, you want two with us. That's all that matters. We did. I think they did want to bring him back. I think it was very, very emotion there. I just think it didn't make sense for what we have, and we seeing that right now. Like that would have been a crowded room, bro. It wouldn't work out.
It sounded like the main reason he chose Seattle was because he could literally play in normal regular season games, and the Chiefs were like pretty much going to just relinquish him to the practice squad until it appropriate time to bring him back. I have to, check on the stats and stuff because I don't follow Seattle Seahawks football, but I'm going to assume Frank Clark is not making a tremendous impact in Seattle, let alone does he have any stats to his name for the 2023 season under Seattle. But we'll see if that
look right now
is a choice that he would love to have back. When you're spiteful, you think you can do everything, and you deserve the best no matter what. When maybe you need to look a gift horse in the mouth and realize what your circumstances were, and that the Chiefs were asking you to come back limited, making about the same money as you already were when they decided to release you outright. And you were too spiteful, so you went back to Seattle. We will see if that is a decision that Frank Clark goes to regret. And I'm not even trying to say that like, oh, I'm so boisterous and like confident that the Chiefs are totally going to win the Super Bowl. So Frank,
because he only had 1 year.
You cut out a little bit, Dale. You out. I'll let you connect again.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You back.
Okay, cool. Nah, yeah. Well, with Frank, like, he only had a year left because we released him, right? Did they want to restructure at all, or he didn't want to restructure at all? That's what I'm trying to get at, because it seemed like once the Super Bowl was over, we won, we celebrated everything like that. Okay.
It seemed like it was him because, like, he was not willing to restructure to a point where we would be able to just rip up the old contract, basically. It's like, Frank, you're not getting the 20s of millions of dollars. You're not getting it. Please work with us so you can be here long term. And maybe you can get the entirety of this contract over 3 seasons or something like that. But you're not getting this per season value. We can't do it. You're not worth it. Sorry. We love you, Frank.
Yeah.
This is not to say you are worth less, but you are worth less than you have been. And I think Frank just was not willing to accept that fact. And maybe he made this decision out of spite versus business-wise. Because if you're Frank Clark's agent, and you're telling him you can go back to the team that you've won 2 Super Bowls with. You get to sit on their practice squad pretty much until mid-December and then come out and try to win another Super Bowl ring and pad your postseason stats. Or you can go play snaps on a Seattle defense, which is still just as good, but you're not making an impact. You're not seen as like the guy there anymore because it's been too much time separated from Frank Clark in Seattle, to the point where the Chiefs kingdom could claim Frank versus Seattle trying to say, no, Frank Clark's ours. So you never hear that argument.
Yeah, because he was definitely going to be situational, and the sacks that you make with us was going to be impactful. Because right now we're riding the wave with Mike Dana and George Karlaftis. They're doing their jobs on the outside edges. They're collapsing the pocket, helping that inside. Then we got some dogs with Charles Minihue, Chris Jones, and also Nadi playing at a high level this year as well too. So you coming in, I like that point that you made, because it's like, that's cool. You're going to get more playing time, but you're seeing that the losses that you're having now, what impact are you going to actually make? What impact are you going to do in the postseason? Like, what you're going to be able to do? Because that the Seahawks don't have the same energy that the Kansas City Chiefs do have when they do get into the postseason. Defense fire up, atmosphere. Now, I will say, Seattle atmosphere is just as loud as Kansas City, but we're louder. Of course, we got the record for that. But we had the record. They took it from us. We took it back. So I'm gonna give y'all respect. But what you did here for those years when we won 2 Super Bowls, it just would have been a bigger moment for you, because we say playoff Frank. Like, I go into group chats when we're arguing football, when we have our game threads. You see me the whole time saying Frank. Like, I love it. Like, that's what we do. What you did last year when you got the first sack on Burrow, the stadium erupted. I'm sure you was there, right? It erupted.
That's right.
It erupted because that was the thing that they were talking about in the previous season. We wasn't able to get them down on the ground. You already did that. Once we got that sack, we felt like we was winning that game because we didn't do it last year. So, and then you got Chris Jones balling out as well too. You got your boy who love you. So it would have been fun. I think you would love the environment more, just because you have those relationships. The guys that you see in Seattle now, those not the same guys that you seen when you was there at first. It's new people. Gino at the helm. You got different defensive players as well too. It's just not. It's not the same that you had before you actually left from over there. So you're going back to somewhere that's kind of unfamiliar. You just got Coach Pete Carroll.
Right. Yeah. So basically, you're getting like emotional type this choice decision out of Frank Clark versus what would have been the most logical or whatever decision for him. Because you said it, Chiefs Kingdom loved it when Frank Clark got a sack. It did not matter about his crappy contract that Chiefs gave him throughout that entire time. We complained about it. We were not happy about it. But as soon as it was January, we shut our mouths and we cheered on Frank like you're supposed to. Yep. So something was in Frank that made him a little spiteful this time. And I think he assumed he had a big importance to the other 2 Super Bowl runs and how valuable he thought he was to the potential third. And the Chiefs did not see that same value in Frank Clark.
It's just like those.
He sees Frank sees too much value in himself than, frankly, the NFL does, and Chiefs Kingdom or Seattle's Kingdom or whoever thinks of Frank Clark. We love him and want him to succeed, but he didn't put himself in the best position if he truly wanted postseason sack record.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was thinking. It was like, I wanted him to get that postseason sack record. See, I kind of compared it to relationships you have with, some people like, it's cool. I'm looking at Seattle as that side chick. It's just they good. They're gonna want to give you more. You're gonna be able to tap in a little bit. Yeah, what I'm saying, what you're doing, what you get over there, right? They gonna let you in.
Mm-hmm.
But with Kansas City, you got some substance. You know what I'm saying? Like we love you while you down. You know what I mean? Like I'm helping you while you down at your lowest. We married to the game. Like we love you, bro. Like we know what you're not doing in the regular season. You got me out here arguing with people talking about Frank ain't doing that. I don't care because I wanted to see
Mm-hmm.
postseason Frank. He gonna make that money in the postseason though. We gonna have him out there. He gonna get that postseason sack record. That's why I wanted so everybody can shut up. He submitted in the history books. We own
Mm-hmm.
that. That's something that you gonna be able to tell your kids.
Yep.
You got 2 Super Bowls, a chance to get a third one, and I got the sack record from one of
Yep.
the. I'm up there with the greatest of all time when it comes to that.
And the dichotomy of Frank Clark, like at opposed to those other elite pass rushers, because this isn't Frank Clark is getting 15 sacks during the regular season, and he's getting at least a couple sacks during the postseason to like make sense of that production. That is not the case. I mean, Frank started out somewhat predictable, and then his production, even then, when he got to the Chiefs, slipped a little bit towards the regular season. But the postseason is where it counts. So
Yep.
it's unfortunate for him that they couldn't continue the relationship, but it's a two-way street. So
Yep.
I don't know who ultimately is the blame. I mean, if Frank wanted to be on the Chiefs practice squad, he could be right now. So I think
Yep.
that's pretty much our choice.
Yep.
Well, we have gone on for an hour 30. I think we've
36. Ooh.
more than what a good place to call it. I love these type of BS conversational pieces. We can spitball about the Chiefs all day, all night, and we can do the same thing about any other NFL team too. So, I just love talking any football in general. I know a lot of people online do as well, sharing our stuff, different communities and groups trying to up our awareness and get people more involved with us and what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now because I did not do this at all during the entire 90 minutes before this. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Also, be sure to check out any of our previous content. Last night, obviously, the Chiefs unfortunately lost to the Eagles, and Dale, myself, and our partner Lonnie broke that game down, and you can find that over here on the channel. And if that's not enough for you, we've got some more videos coming up later this weekend. I think the plan is, since all y'all are on your holiday break, we'll do that just the same. Maybe we have an urge to do something like this again during the week if we're all kind of hanging out and people want to talk football. But we will essentially be back content-wise breaking down the Chiefs after we've seen them play this Las Vegas Raiders team. So we're going to get you ready for that game. Dale's going to get an extra point video out to you just like normal.
Yep.
And then hoping a Chiefs victory, I'll be there right after that with you too. Anything else you want to tell the lovely viewers before we close?
Right now, I'm building some connections. Right now, we might have a former Chiefs player want to get on. We might have one of them on there. We know him big in the community. He's definitely on Twitter a lot. He just hit me up, said it'd be his pleasure. So we have to get him on here so we can chop it up with Chiefs Kingdom. That'd be fun. He definitely gives great content as well too. So we'll break the news later on that. But right now we got some big things coming up for sure.
you really, it's hard to find bad people in our community.
Right.
Like, just everyone you see or interact with is either just like the most engaging, the most authentic, or like the most
Facts.
entertaining person that you could have ever thought to interact with. And you just feel like drawn to them. There's this energy like pushing y'all towards each other to keep nerding out about this subject that like it's so contagious. You can't
Mhm.
fight it off. So
Yep.
once you're latched on, you just keep trying to bring
Yeah.
other people to latch on with you. You want
Yep.
everybody else on this fun ride. Despite how the Chiefs have been playing, we're still optimistic. Their record is what it is. Like you said, Baltimore doesn't play a game in 2 weeks, and they
Yep.
were exactly the same again. So
Yep.
we know where the struggles lie. It's on the offense. The offense knows that. Let's let those players and the coaches in the film room and on the practice field and getting things right and realizing who they are and where they need to go to be successful this season. And keep giving your flowers to the defense and stop expecting them to go every single drive without a touchdown. Stop it. You can't expect them to completely goose
Would
egg
be
on the scoreboard every single time. You just can't.
would be mad at me. I'd be in the chat. He'd be like, "Bro, here we go with this." I'd be like, if the defense could probably get us stop this one, maybe we could do something. He'd be like, "Bro, they can't do it every time." I'd be like, I just got faith in my boys. That's all. It's more apply to them more than what we seeing from this shitty offense right now.
True.
So that's all.
It
But
seemed
it'd be
like,
funny.
especially that beginning of the Eagles game, it seemed like the sides of the ball were matching exactly what the other side of the ball was doing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Chiefs offense struggled, then Eagles offense struggled, then Chiefs
Yep.
offense decided to go down the field and score, then Eagles offense decided. So it was just this game of either side was going to pick and choose when
Yep.
to play well and when to crap out.
When we got up to 10, I was like, this kind of reminiscent of the Super Bowl, and we on the other side of it. I'm telling you, that was my initial thoughts. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, though. Y'all, I was like, this might be ugly. And then I was like, okay, we holding them in the third quarter. Now you're not doing nothing. All right. And then next, like they score. I was like, all right. And then we get another couple more stops. We might be able to pull it out. Oh, big throw down to Devontae Smith for a touchdown. So it all came together. I was like, it's just in the situation in the Super Bowl, both offenses were just playing lights out. So it's just back and forth scoring. We just got enough stops in that game to get us ahead and keep pushing ahead. In this moment, it was more of a defensive game, but they did enough to where they shut us out, and they just the ones who scored the last 2 touchdowns of the game and were able to win. So once I saw it, I was like, worried about it. Maybe we can pull it off, but we didn't. So we here now.
And we keep saying, oh, maybe the Chiefs will learn from these losses. And maybe we could have said that after the second one and after the bye week. But like this is just what it looks like. And I can't imagine that Andy and Pat are satisfied with what they see.
They're not.
And last point, I keep seeing the whole, well, why didn't Brett Beach bring anybody in? Well, either number one, they're not worth the contract that we'd say. And number two, maybe the actual man in charge of the construction of this Chiefs team did not see value in another wide receiver, or he sees way too much value in the wide receivers he already has.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the same as we were in week one. We are not any better. Like,
nope.
We have to expect tons of mistakes.
Yep.
And you can't go into football games confident you're going to win against good football teams if you know you're going to keep making mistakes.
Yep.
What did we think years ago playing Tom Brady? If we just play perfect, we might have a chance. We might have a chance to pull it out at the very end if we don't make any single mistake whatsoever. So like these mistakes have to be expected now because they are happening too frequently and not like pattern. Like it just keeps happening. There's no avoiding it anymore. So wanting the Chiefs to not have a mistake-free game is just not going to happen. Can the Chiefs come back from the mistakes that they've made? That's what we'll see. Because we know some magical numbers. We know 5 turnovers, way too many. Can't do that. Maybe we're to a point where 2 is already too many. The Chiefs lost the turnover differential, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
So
2-1.
Other times, the Chiefs might have had a negative turnover differential and still overcame the game.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're to a point where each and every one of those mistakes ends up costing you. Like, who knows if it's a direct, it happens exactly this way, but your offense makes a mistake and your defense immediately gives up something as well.
Yep.
Like, not always, but that's how the energy works. If one side struggles, then the other side is going to struggle because they both are feeling that energy.
Yep. Just need to take advantage of our opportunities. Don't turn over the ball. It can be a field goal. We'll just take the points we got. We at that point now. Of course, we want the touchdown, but at this point, we need to take whatever points we get. We start off solid in the first half, but the second half, we get down there. Let's not turn over the ball. If it got to be a field goal, it got to be a field goal. We praying for a touchdown, but we need anything now because not scoring anything the last couple weeks in the second half, horrendous. 5.9 points average in the second half, horrendous. We can't do that.
The Chiefs at this point need to play like they had, like the other team has a Patrick Mahomes sitting on the sidelines ready to come in the game as well. That's how the Chiefs need to play every game going forward. Handing the ball off, just slowly, surely moving down the field. If it's a touchdown, that's what we want. But no turnovers, field goals, points, time of possession, getting your Chiefs defense time to sit on the sidelines and not be on the field, be with their coaches, studying film, et cetera, et cetera. Give this team the best chance to win. Hand the ball off way more. Stop trying to do things that we can't do anymore. Be the team that we are now and finish the year strong.
Yep. I agree. Yep. It's what we got to do.
Okay.
That's about it.
And with that, I will get off my soapbox so everyone else can have a great Thanksgiving break. Get all effed up on turkey and liquor of choice. Pass out by the second game.
Ham. I like ham.
Honestly, I like turkey, but it's too overrated. I'm one of those people that thinks that Thanksgiving and Christmas doesn't have to be a designated meal. Like, if you
Christmas, we stopped doing that. We just make what we want on Christmas now.
Like if you want it to be like a Mexican food Thanksgiving, hell, do it. That sounds awesome. Like do something that nobody else does that's more interesting than just the same turkey, mashed potato, stuffing, and
macaroni, all that, sweet potatoes, all that good stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your Thanksgiving break. All of us at Red Kingdom Media hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. Make good choices. Don't bet all of your money. Don't rob banks, mostly. I think is the main takeaway if you listen to the show. But we'll be back after the break to give you more Chiefs content, which we all know you can't get enough of because, like it or not, even though this team either gets you excited or pisses you off, they're under your skin, and there's no getting through that. So just find a group of like-minded people to have that itch scratched with you. All right. I'll go ahead and close us out. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. As always, let's go
Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom